share my heart with y'all this morning. I have really been blessed to be surrounded by really awesome friends with great faith in God. And it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded believers. Like, yes, you can have friends that disagree. Yes, you can have friends that don't share your same beliefs, but your closest friends should be friends that are going in the same direction as you, that will hold your hands up when you fall, and that will call you out when you're not doing things biblically. Okay, if you're a Christian, if you're a Christ follower, and you want to please God, it's not going to be easy. And you're going to need people close to you that can help you when you're struggling, that when that temptation comes, that can remind you, hey, you want to follow God. What you're doing right now is not following God. And no, it's not easy to have friends like that, because when friends call you out, you got to change. Because if you don't change, they're going to stop calling you out, and soon enough, they're going to stop wanting to be around you. I have several friends that at one time I considered them best friends, and they started doing things that were ungodly and did not please God, and we're not as close as we used to be. Not that I'm judging them, not that I'm, looking down on them, because I'm a jacked up sinner. Like, I'm not that. But if I'm going to California, I just use that as an example. I need somebody that has a map to get to California, okay? If I want to go to New York, I need somebody, hopefully riding shotgun with me, that has a map to New York. If somebody in my life doesn't have the map to where I want to go, chances are I'm not going to get there as fast or when I'm supposed to, right? If I link up with somebody that has a map to New York, but I don't want to go to New York, I want to go to California, that's not going to end very well. They're going to be taking me in an opposite direction that I don't want to go in. And then you get to New York and you're like, what the heck? I was supposed to be in California. Well, you probably shouldn't have chose a co-pilot shotgun seat rider to be giving you the wrong information. Ashleydawn, are you going to California? Are you going to New York? No, I'm not going to either one. I'm just using it as an example to kind of speak in a parable, if you will, to say if the people in your life don't have the map to where you want to go, you're probably not going to get to where you want to go. So it's okay if you're going to California and a bunch of your friends have maps to New York, for you to say, you know what, I love you, but in this season in my life, I can't follow your directions because you're not going to get me to where I want to go, right? If I'm a Christ follower, which I am, and I want to follow God and I want to follow the Bible, I cannot submit myself to people that are living the way they want to people that are disregarding the Word of God, that are being desensitized to the sin that really exists in the world. Am I a sinner? Yes. Do I struggle with sin? Yes, we all do. But there's a difference between when you're trying to avoid sin and when you're totally comfortable with it and you're celebrating it. The friends in my life that I've had to separate from are currently celebrating sin. I can't have that in my life. Now, do I love people that I disagree with? Yes, but they're not going to be closest to me. I preached a message in Atlanta about your inner circle, right? Jesus had his disciples. Now, he preached to everybody. He loved everybody, but only 12 were closest to him. And even out of that 12, there were 3 that were really close to him. And even out of those 3, he told them to wait when he went into the holy place to talk to God. And it was just one God, him and God, right? So we need to have our one, which is God. God can be the only one that's directing us 24/7. And then we need to have our three best friends that are closest to us, that are protecting us, that are at our side, that are praying for us, that are lifting us up, and that are exercising their faith when sometimes our faith is struggling. And then you can have your 12. And then beyond that 12, you can have everybody else. For me, part of my 3 were people that were celebrating sin and celebrating things that I didn't want in my life. Our pastor, amazing man of God, preached a message last night that was really beneficial to me, and it was talking about sin. Do we mourn our sin? Do we mourn when we're spiritually not close to God? I want to have friends that, for one, can see when they're not spiritually on fire with God, and that can do what's necessary to fix that. Then I want friends that are able to realize when there's a clink in their armor and to fix it. And I want friends that are able to realize when there's a clink in my armor and lovingly share that with me and be like, hey, Ashleydawn, I noticed that, you're liking some things on Facebook, or you're liking some things on Instagram that do not align with the Word of God. Are you okay? Like, how are you spiritually? I need friends like that. I want to grow. It says iron sharpens iron. Well, I'm not sure if you've tried to sharpen an iron knife on a piece of plastic, but it don't work. I don't need plastic friends. I don't need plastic Christians that maybe go to church on Sunday, but, Monday through Saturday, they're living crazy lives and, watching all kinds of filthy TV shows, celebrating adultery, celebrating sin. I don't want that. And not that I'm judging, but I want to be healthy. And so it matters who's closest to me, right? Have you ever seen like a rotten peach that has mold on it? If you set a rotten peach that has mold on it in a bowl of peaches, that mold is going to spread to all them other peaches. What does that mean, Ashleydawn? Well, if somebody in your life has mold that they're fine with sin being in their life. They're fine with, kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're fine with saying they love God, but doing things that break his heart. And I'm not saying like it's a mistake and they fall. I'm saying they're purposefully buying the shirt, going to the place, doing the thing that grieves God's heart. Ashleydawn, what do you mean? Okay, in simple terms, if you're a man, say you're a single man, and you love the Lord, and you want to serve the Lord, okay? Now, yes, you could maybe fall into some sin if you're clicking on some little pop-ups on the computer. That's a little different. It's still wrong, and God doesn't want you to do that, right? But it's a lot different than if you get in your car, you go to an ATM, you get cash out of your pocket, you drive to a strip club, or you drive to a street corner and you hire a prostitute to have sex with. Now, sex on the outside of marriage is wrong, regardless who it's with. You're supposed to be married. The Bible is very clear on what marriage is. The Bible is very clear on what sex is. And so, with all that to say, if a man that's trying to serve God is just on his computer and a dirty pop-up pops up and he's tempted and he clicks it, that's a lot different, right? It's like premeditated. Like when lawyers are arguing cases and they're like, oh, this was premeditated. You thought, you made steps to make this possible. Did the guy on the computer make steps to make it possible? I don't know. But did the guy that went to the ATM, that thought it all out, that went to the strip club, that, entered, that went to the prostitute? Yeah, you thought that out. And my point is, that hurts God's heart. We do things every day that hurts his heart. Some, we just fall into sin and we're tempted and we fall. But others, we purposefully go out of our way to do something we shouldn't be doing. We think about it, we go buy the t-shirt, we go get the ticket to go to the thing that breaks God's heart. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So for me, I need godly friends. Not perfect. I want friends that are aware of the sin in their own life and that are daily, diligently trying to eradicate that sin from their life. I have friends that are currently struggling with pornography addiction, men and women, separately, obviously. And I talk to them on a consistent basis and, say, how you doing? How's your canine blue code coming? Like, some of them have given me the password so I can know, so I can be alerted if they're somewhere they shouldn't be, and I hold my friends accountable. I have friends that are struggling with drug addiction, and the same thing. How you doing? How's your sobriety? How are you doing? Now, is that unloving that I'm, ruining their fun and calling them out? No, it's loving that I'm trying to be there for them in a greater capacity than maybe the other friends that are like, hey, you need some money? You want to buy some drugs? Like, that's not a friend. A friend is not going to help you sin. A friend, a godly friend, is not going to help you shoot up drugs. A godly friend is not going to go to the strip club with you. A godly friend is not going to do things purposefully that hurt God's heart. It's not going to happen. Ashleydawn, how many friends do you have? Well, I will say I have 12, 3, and 1. My best friend in the whole wide world is God. After that, my best friends are my mom and my dad. After that, my friend Robin is one of my closest friends. We are in Bible studies together. My friend Melanie, one of my closest friends. Susan, Kathy, Debbie, my Bible study sisters. My sisters that are holding my arms up in battle. The people closest to me need to be going in the same direction that I am. Have I had different friends at different seasons of my life? Yeah, I have. And when they show me they are no longer going in the direction that I am, my presence in their life is going to be limited. When I see friends that are speaking out of both sides of their mouth, that are saying one thing and doing another, my presence in their life is going to be limited. If they say they love God, but they don't show they love God by their actions, I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time with them. I'm not. Now, do I have friends that aren't believers? Yeah, I do. And do I love them? Yeah, I do. But am I going to go to them for advice on how to follow God? No, that would be stupid. That's like asking somebody who's never played a video game in their life to help me learn Mario Kart. Like, that's dumb. You wouldn't do that. You go to an expert. You go to a professional. You go to somebody who is daily working at their talent or their skill if you want help with it. If I want to learn guitar lessons, am I going to go to somebody that doesn't know how to play guitar, or am I going to go to a seasoned professional that has played guitar their whole life? A seasoned professional that has played guitar their whole life. So if you're wanting to get closer to God, you're probably going to need to be close to people that are daily seeking a closeness with God, be it Bible studies, be it podcasts, be it, whatever. And for a long time, I really struggled with rejection, and I felt rejected, and I felt like I wasn't good enough, because the friends that I had in my life, like, they would be my best friend, and they would like love me so much and care about me so much and want to spend time with me and want to do this and want to do this and want to do this, and then all of a sudden they're not in my life anymore, or all of a sudden they have new best friends and they don't want me to be their best friend anymore, or they're doing things that I don't agree with and that I don't believe God has for me. And so I would talk to my mom and dad, and I'd be like, Mom, Dad, like, this person had this party and they didn't invite me. This person's doing this and they didn't invite me. This person's, doing this. And they would just tell me, Ash, my dad would, because he's the only one that calls me that. Ash, God is taking people out of your life that don't mean you good. And I never really understood that. And I really struggle with it. I'm like, but Daddy, I love everyone. Like, I don't care what your belief is. Like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, but when you're going somewhere, when you have a goal, you need people that are going in the same direction. He's like, I'm not saying you can't have acquaintances and you can't have friends, that are at arm's length, but the people closest to you need to be going in the same direction. And I'm like, wow, you're right. And sometimes, listen, it hurts when God takes people out of your life. There's been, my high school sweetheart that I loved with all my heart, that we were engaged and we were going to get married, and I just could never imagine my life without him in it. He didn't want to go in the direction that I was going. And no matter how much I loved him, no matter how close we were, no matter, how many years we dated each other, he wasn't going in the same direction that I was. Friends that I had in high school that I thought, I'm never going to go a day without them in my life. I can't tell you the last time they called me. Can't tell you the last time they actually responded to a message that I sent them on Facebook. Why? Because they're not going in the same direction. Do they not love me? I don't know. That's between them and God. Do I love them? Forever and always. I will never stop loving somebody. If I love you once, I love you always. Now, that love doesn't want you to sit in a pig pen. That love doesn't want you to stay stuck in addiction or, a bad lifestyle. That love wants the best for you, just like God's love wants the best for us. And so, for me, I'm just thankful that God has brought people into my life that want to grow with me, that want to experience God with me, and that are walking in the same direction. Is it easy? No. It's pretty stinking hard. It's pretty hard when your best friend isn't your best friend anymore. It's pretty hard when that boyfriend that you just love so much, you come to the agreement and the knowledge that he's not who you thought he was. And he's not going to do, what you thought he was going to do. He's not going to be there for you when you thought he was going to be there for you. It's very difficult to come to that realization. So I just hope this encourages you. If you want to get closer to God, you got to change the people that you're closest to. Not that you got to kick people out of your life, but the ones that you spend the most time with will direct where you go in the future. So make sure that whoever you're spending the most time with is going in the same direction that you want to go in. I love y'all. Have a great day. Be blessed. Know that God loves you and he's got great plans for you. Bye, y'all.